Hi coaches, Ron Solico here. What I want to do in this video presentation today is kind of building off our previous videos in the open post, and a couple of the thoughts that we're going to discuss today is getting your good one-on-one players into their preferred spots to go one-on-one, some ideas on how to do that, and then got a interesting concept to talk about with designated screeners. So those are the two things I will talk about. So the first one is one-on-one spots. So in the open post, depending on how quickly your team's able to move the ball and get from side to side, there's obviously multiple spots that players want to go one-on-one. Some players have very preferred spots to help them go right or left, be within their shooting range for a jab step type of move and then a jump shot. But what I wanted to focus on was more about the technique on how to get the spots, because typically in the open post we talk about using cuts that are often using the three-point line and the free throw line for spacing. And maybe those are good one-on-one spots for your players, and maybe they're not. So this video is going to talk about ideas on how to get inside of those spots. So the first one I want to talk about is, and we've done this in a previous video, is talk about the importance of getting the ball to the high post, to the elbow area, because there's a lot of things you can do within that elbow area. Set plays on the weak side, one-on-one moves, backdoor cuts, off the strong side. But to get the ball to the elbow area, in the previous videos we talked about how to get to the elbow area out of the lower positions on the floor. But in this video, it's really a different kind of cut. So let's say the ball goes here. Clearing out. Okay. The normal spacing in the cutting of the open post is running to the free throw line and then going one way or the other. So to kind of build off of that, maybe you've got someone with 15-foot range. What if you just go take the cut down a little bit into the lane and then pop out? So that's creating an angle, because in most cases the ball reversal is going to be the cut that is going to be available because the defense is taking away the basket cut. So by cutting to the basket and then popping out, they can get the ball in that 12 to 15 foot area around the foul line. So that's one thing that can be done. Kind of build off of that is cut to the middle and then V cut right to the elbow of the foul line to get the ball in that area. Maybe it's backed off a little bit for spacing, but that's kind of the general idea is by taking your cut a little bit lower, you have a chance to then get into an operating area that's more to your liking. And it's the same thing maybe to start the offense or on the pass to the wing is cut down lower and then pop up to the elbow. Okay? Or if you're doing a down screen sequence, have the cut go right to the elbow. So those are some thoughts on how to get to the elbow area to go one-on-one. And the general thought is just thinking about if you're ever using this corner person, it's shortening your cuts so you're not going out to the perimeter, but you're making cuts to get in closer operating areas in whatever spot is being looked at. I think by building this and customizing it, those are some things you can make your team aware of of who needs to get the ball in certain spots. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about, was getting to one-on-one spots. Second thing I wanted to talk about was some thoughts with designated screeners. Sometimes it's your best jump shooter that's your designated screener. Sometimes it's your screener that just doesn't have a lot of offensive ability. Maybe there's someone that plays football in the off season, but they're a big, strong kid that can really help you out by getting their teammates open. So double screen is not quite the concept I want to talk about, but it's really getting the screener in the mindset of setting multiple screens. So, scenario we're talking about here is, let's say this person to start is our player that, for whatever reason, we've designated them as a screener or a blocker. So the pass goes here. We're setting the screen right at the elbow. Okay, and then they go head hunting for a second screen. Okay, so their mindset is to set consecutive screens. Okay, so you set a screen, go set another screen. Okay, so off the top, you've got two great screening angles where you can screen for that cutter at the foul line, and then you can screen for that cutter down in the corner. And it's got to be a quick situation, because you do want to have a situation where you can reverse the ball quickly, and then off the second cut, then they can shape up on the outside or in the post, depending on their skill and ability. Maybe they're a shooter, so I would say that quick screen scenario is going to a lot of times create someone going with the cutter and then creating this opening for the screener. So off the top, that's one way you could set the screens. The second scenario is, after this is our screener in the wing spot. They make the pass at the corner. They set the screen. Set the screen at the foul line. Okay. Or you can do it on the perimeter. So again, the thought is just getting people in the mindset of setting multiple screens. If they're performing that role for your team, again, it could be someone that's just a great standstill jump shooter, but they're not great with the ball making plays. Maybe it's someone that's just really good at setting screens, and then perhaps off that second screen, then they can roll to the basket. You can see there's even a potential here to go set 3 screens. Set that one, they could set that one, and then they could go set here. So it's just bang, bang, bang. Obviously, the screening action is potentially going to limit how quickly you can reverse the ball and how quickly you can move the ball. But the flip side of that is maybe it's getting people more open more easily for ball reversal, potentially open jump shots, cuts, and those kind of things. So again, what we wanted to do in this video was talk about just some different ways you can get people into operating areas to play to their one-on-one strengths. And then the second one was, however you're designating your screeners, getting them in that mindset of setting 2-3 screens in a row as part of their filling of the spots on the offense. So thank you for watching this video on the Open Post. Have a great day.